all connected to share an insight of what we have been taking as professional experiences and expertise from the very own Institute of Career Development. I welcome you once again on board, and thank you for sparing out your time. To all the people, all the alumni of ICD, welcome once again. So this is me, Bilbano, your host. You're going to see me all over again. So let's start up with a very fine question. Whenever it comes to our mind, teaching qualifications or professional development courses, there is one renowned name that always comes to our mind, and that is CELTA, of course. So I would like all of my seniors to please shed an insight and share it with us. And so through this platform, all the people who wanted actually to go for CELTA would get an insight. What is it all about? Mr. Tahir, can I have you on board? Should I give you the lead? If you just have to, if you can just share some of your information, all that, what is about CELTA, over to you.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I think presumably I'm senior because I'm probably the eldest person here, but I think age and experience are different things, and skills is also something different. I wouldn't say I'm in any way seasoned at all, because I only did the CELTA maybe 6-7 months ago. I think it was this summer, June, and probably I would say I'm in the last sort of part of my career now. I probably have maybe 10, possibly 15 years left of teaching. So I decided to do a CELTA at quite a late stage in my career, because working in the international sector, time and again, I came up against this this requirement, and also it was considered not essential, but it was considered definitely desirable in many areas. Although obviously, because it's more focused towards adults, then you're looking at institutes and universities and training schools rather than high schools or primary schools. So that's something that's quite important, that if it's someone who's looking to be in the post-16 or post-18 sector, then it's definitely suited for them. If they're looking to teach English internationally. I think there's a lot of theory. There's also a lot of practice, and it's very intensive. It's definitely beneficial, both in terms of theory and practice. And I think it takes some time to implement some of the things that you've learned. So it's not something that would necessarily change our teaching style straight away, but I think over time, if we look at what we've learned, there are some very useful techniques, and there's a knowledge base behind the practice. There's something to go back to actually look at why you do what you do, or why you should do these things. And I think, apart from anything else, it's very good discipline for teachers to have this refinement of their skills.
Thank you, Mr. Tahir. That was really informative, and that added a lot to the meaning of CELTA. Thank you so much for your thoughts upon it. I would want to move on to my next participant, Ms. Ismet Fatima. Would you please shed some light over it so we have some more words of what CELTA? Have you found CELTA?
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Walaikum assalam. Yes, you are.
Okay, so my CELTA qualification has been like a guiding compass in my teaching journey, and I have learned teaching interactively, which has changed my classrooms into a lively exchange of ideas rather than just teaching them some of the concepts. And I can now provide them with constructive feedback, which has helped me to create a connection on a personal level, and it has increased their enthusiasm for learning, and it was a life-changing experience actually.
That's great to hear that it was a life-changing experience for you. Thank you for your insight. Mr. Muni, can we have some words from you?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for this invitation, and I just recently graduated as a CELTA participant. So it's been like what, around 2 months, almost 2 months. So my journey has really been eventful and it was full of learning, specifically because I've been associated with the field of education for the past 10 years. And I feel that my learning journey with CELTA was quite unique because there was a lot of new idea that I got about teaching of English specifically. While I did have a very good understanding of how to teach English, but when it came to adult teaching, I believe the pedagogical aspect and the theoretical part, which was bridged through CELTA's course, that was really, really immersive and helpful. And sure, as soon as I was done with CELTA, I think the number of opportunities that I've started receiving have increased. So really, really grateful for that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muni, for your time and for your words. It was great listening to you, how CELTA has been influencing the professionals around the globe. So we have Ms. Miroz. Ms. Miroz, would love to hear it from you as well. Over to you, please. Before you proceed, I would request, please turn on your cameras so we can have a view of people who are in the meeting at this moment. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Nara Shazad, and few of you already know me, including Gulbano, Rimsha, Mr. Tahir, and Ms. Ismat. I did my CELTA course like in June 2023, and honestly speaking, I had no clue about how to teach English before that, though I had been teaching for like good 2 decades by now. And I had been a mathematics teacher, so provided that my English is good, so my husband really pushed me to get into CELTA because he thought that I should be, really working on that side of the teaching department. Once I got on the course, it was quite intensive. And I would say that I learned a lot. Having to say that I knew all because I had a good experience, but to be very honest, it was just like nothing in front of CELTA. And especially how we planned our lesson plans was something which really, really made our teaching practices meaningful. Normally, we do make lesson plans for everyday classrooms, but after I did my CELTA course, I now realize like all those CELTA days where we made our lesson plans, and then we used to be awake the whole night making lesson plans. That really, really helped me because now, even though I'm teaching primary grades, so when I make my lesson plans, I am into it. And how is that is because I whatever I learned on the CELTA course, I implemented. For example, like when we have our teaching goals and then anticipation problem. Now, this is something we never did that before. So now, when we are making a lesson plan, we anticipate if we are going to have any problems, and then that way we get to put in plan B and C. And also, the other thing which really helps me in my lesson plans now is that I do the exercises and all the coursework before I go into my classroom. That never happened before. So, yeah, and one more thing is that people here do not know much about CELTA, but when they hear that I'm a CELTA certified teacher, so it like adds another crown, so everybody goes like, oh, wow, you're CELTA certified. So it's a good thing. It's good to be acknowledged that way. Thank you.
Well, that was a pretty much good insight about CELTA. So let's move on to the next part, what we need to know more. Since we all know the importance of being a CELTA certified tutor, the next thing that comes to everybody's mind, like if we talk about the learners, the newcomers, they always say, do we need to have some kind of prerequisites ready in terms that if I want to opt for CELTA, is there anything that is required prior to be a CELTA certified professional, be in terms of academics, be in terms of other skills? Could you please shed a light on that too?
Is that question for me, or are you asking in general?
Well, it's a general question, but I want all my alumni members, if you could just participate, taking in turns and share your experiences and go inside, that way it's going to be really fruitful for all of us. So Miru, since you were the last person to speak up, so I would say you can be the first person to continue.
Yeah,
Please turn on your cameras. So sorry for interruption.
No problem. So if I look at myself, I really don't think that you need to be, to be someone who is either, except that you should have at least a bachelor's degree. Apart from that, I don't think you really need something to be on the CELTA course, because CELTA is going to really change you and really, really, bring you up as a great teacher. So I really don't think so. I might, maybe others might just not agree to me.
So, Mr. Tahir, what have you got to say about it? Do we really need to have some kind of prerequisites, or there something that we need to prepare in advance before we proceed with this rigorous course?
Well, I mean, apart from a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of patience, I think the only other thing you need is a reasonable grasp of English as a teacher. And by reasonable, I mean probably good rather than reasonable, because you have to have subject knowledge to some extent, because CELTA kind of assumes subject knowledge, and it actually gives you advanced subject knowledge in certain areas. So you can assess yourself, I think, if you are confident enough. It doesn't have to be gained through a particular route, but you should be confident of your subject knowledge in English. But the other things, I think, obviously the money is a prerequisite. Time and energy are very important, because you can't take it on as an endeavor and have other things going on at the same time. You have to really sort things out very carefully. And if you have family commitments and other commitments which involve, loss of income or whatever, you have to be very serious about what you're going to be doing for those 3 or 4 weeks. And you should have conversations with people who normally have a lot of time, or you give it a lot of time. And it could be practical things like childcare, and it could be still important things, because in terms of, it does put your other commitments under strain and your relationships under strain unless you've talked it through.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
one needs to be managed as well, really managed.
Thank you. So we need to be pre-planned and we need to be organized in all our schedules that we are going to have for that specific time when we are opting for CELTA. So, Mr. Mini, do you have the same insight? Would you like to shed up your thoughts on that, please?
I think I will echo what Mr. Tahir and Ms. Mehruz have shared. And, I think I'm still too new to, share further insights because it's just been 2 months, but yeah.
Welcome, Mr. Anas, to have joined us now as one of the alumni of ICD Institute of Career Development. Welcome on board. Mr. Anas, we are pleased to have you. Just to You can see the people in here. We are having a discussion about what CELTA is, what are the prerequisites in order if you want to start this rigorous training. And of course, for your professional grooming, one needs to go through the upcoming trends. All right, so this was all about that. What are the things that we need to be keeping in mind in case we are going to enroll ourselves for this rigorous and vigorous program, which is called CELTA. So do you prefer that we should go through certain books like for grammar or for language before we join in the sessions? Do you agree to that? Or would you recommend the upcoming people that we make, I'd say, consult to some kind of book resources before we opt for CELTA? Do you agree, or is it pretty fine that your academic knowledge is pretty enough to cope up with this training?
Hello to all Celtoids, first of all, and thank you for inviting me over. And I'm a little bit late, and I really appreciate your question that asks that whether or not we have to have language skills prior to CELTA training, and yes, we do have to, because without language skills and without having a language proficiency to the level of band 7 of IELTS, we cannot do well on CELTA, because first thing is the content knowledge. So if we don't have the knowledge of the subject matter, and if you don't have the skills, I wouldn't say only knowledge, because many people who have done masters in English language, they do have knowledge of the language, but they don't have skills. They are unable to use the language. So here on CELTA, definitely prior to CELTA, we need to have language proficiency up to the C1 level. And then, definitely, as far as teaching is concerned, you can go fresh. You can go with your experiences as well. But you must have a good and positive attitude. This is very highly expected on CELTA. When I say CELTA is a rigorous training, I really mean it, because you come across a lot of stressful situations during your CELTA, and in those situations, if you have a positive attitude, definitely you are going to easily handle them. Not easily, I would say gently handle them.
Thank you so much for your words. Well, these are words of wisdom for the newbies who are actually going to join CELTA. Thank you so much. All right, again, we've been talking to the people, we've been talking to students, to professionals, to teachers who want actually to be a CELTA certified trainer. So what do you think, how much effective it is in terms of your professional growth, in terms of your teaching qualifications, how effective CELTA is across the globe? Could you please shed a light on that too? Well, we can volunteer people, Mehroz and Mr. Manir and Mr. Tahir, sorry, since you've been the one who are experienced, and would love to hear more from you.
Okay, well, what I would say is it's definitely an asset on your CV. As I said previously, it does depend which sector you are applying to. If you are working to teach with, if you are applying to work with adults, and you're applying to institutes, language institutes, or universities, there are many around the world which will specify CELTA. And they will usually say something like CELTA or TEFL. So it's kind of an industry standard within a certain sector. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the only qualification, but I would say it's definitely accepted as an industry standard. So you would do well to have one if you were looking to get into working with adults, at least in, say, for example, Africa, Asia. I don't know much about the Americas, but definitely Africa, Asia, including China, Southeast Asia, some parts of the Gulf. But if you are looking for more formal settings like schools, I would say it's not that it's not necessarily that useful. So if you're set on working in schools, then you may need to review and see if there's a more appropriate qualification. But if you're okay to focus on adult learners and institutes and training schools, then definitely it's very valuable and it would open doors. And I think also there are people who are truly seniors who've done the Delta and they've taken it a step further. And then that shows you that there is progression within that field. But I don't think it's the only English teaching qualification, but I think within certain sectors, it's definitely seen as very valuable.
Thank you. So, Ms. Mehrose and Mr. Anis, do you agree with the same, that is it, of course, since you are experiencing the same thing and you've been through, so you know very well that how much, what is the efficacy of being a CELTA certified trainer in your professional environment, in your institutions. So, and then again, if we talk about the influence across the globe, another thing that comes in the mind is that how has it influenced to the people who have been through this course or who have taken this course as a professional? How has it influenced your career? Is it that it has given you a boom into opportunities, or is it that it has given you a big corridor to walk through? So could you please shed a light on that too?
Talat or anyone else is gonna speak? Okay.
Yeah.
As far as Pakistan is concerned, we don't have it accredited by the National Accreditation Council. We do have it in discussion. But however, as far as teaching skills are concerned, critical thinking on teaching is concerned, definitely I've improved a lot as a teacher. Like prior to CELTA, I'd done TESOL from Arizona State University, like it was just like an average, teaching qualification for language teacher. But CELTA is not an average, qualification. It's a premium level of qualification for language teaching. Okay, if you compare it with other TEFL, TESOL, and there are a lot of, many in the world. So I really became a critical teacher. I've taught many IELTS students. I taught prior to CELTA and after CELTA both. And if I look at the difference in the results of my students, what I find now I can, teach IELTS easily. And, like, because in CELTA, I was trained to teach listening, reading, writing, and speaking with certain strategies that were hands-on, unlike the theoretical ones, which I got in my master's program when I was doing. If you ask me, like I've done master's in ELT, and if you ask me to compare ELT with CELTA, I can say CELTA is the practical application of whatever I learned in the master's program. Because when I was doing, I was only thinking how I'm gonna put this into practice. And I really love experimenting. So I used to try to experiment the things which I learned during the master's, and many times I failed to really, get the results. But when I did my CELTA, because, it was under trainers supervision, and, I was assessed by them many times. I was given critical feedback from them. They just looked at every nitty-gritty. I mean, they didn't ignore a small thing, anything. I mean, and definitely today I know that, the small changes in your teaching can make a big difference. And those small changes that I learned or got during my CELTA training have really impacted me. And now I work as a teacher educator in SIPD, which is an institute, teacher training institute in Interior Sense. So I help the teachers improve their teaching strategies, their teaching skills, and not only that, also their own career. So CELTA has impacted me in many ways, teaching as well as my own attitude.
Thank you for sharing out your experience. Would like to hear it from the other CELTA alumni. Miss Adina has joined us right now. Thank you for joining us in, and I would like to hear it from you. So, Miss Adina, would you please share some of your thoughts on it?
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well.
Thank you.
So, it's been almost a year now that I did my CELTA. Um, CELTA was an exceptional experience for me. I have never taught before. I was a fresh graduate, and someone guided me to opt for CELTA for my future career, which I wanted to, build not in Pakistan but abroad. So someone told me that I should opt for CELTA. I had no idea what it's gonna be like, but um, on the very first day, Miss Harim and Gerald Bag was my instructor. They made sure of it that this course is something that is next level. It not only gave me skills, teaching skills, but it also guided me how to look at life, how to brave ourselves during the intensities of life. Um, I still plan to teach abroad. Also, I did my IELTS qualification from ICD. I am planning on for IELTS instructor and trainer, and I'm hopeful that Australia might be my destination for that.
Well, thank you for your pretty good experiences and your words. We would like to have some kind of, let's have a poll. Like if we talk about just deducing from all that you've been speaking and sharing, that it's a wonderful sight to hear that CELTA is the practical application of all that you learn while you're having your academically, you're going for MA linguistic or MPhil linguistics or MA literature master's level. So it's all the implication of all those teaching methodologies, how well you inculcate your academic knowledge with your teaching strategies, and then you produce the best outcomes in terms of your most, you can say, appreciable lessons. And one more thing that comes to mind of a person who thinks of CELTA, that is it going to make a great impact, since we heard that it's not that quite famous in Pakistan, as we have now known that many of the alumni never even knew about it earlier. However, it was supposed to be, according to them, they think that they would have known it earlier quite well because, like Mr. Tahir shared his experience that he did it for quite after a long time, quite late, let's say that. But I want you to shed it inside that what do you think that do we need to have this platform that the upcoming teachers they should be trained with CELTA, and if so, then how can we do that? Like we can be the beacons, let's be the torch bearers, and the others can be the followers. So please, I would like to have
Yes, absolutely. Why not? Why not? Because teaching in this country, uh, there's a certain way of teachers of how they portray themselves as instructors. I would say that it's quite medieval because obviously CELTA taught us a lot regarding how we can upgrade ourselves, how we can build better better relations with our students, how we can be polite and certain both at the same time by teaching. Uh, in order to establish CELTA on a bigger scale here in Pakistan, I guess the private sectors in this the region should take steps. They should welcome teachers. They should acknowledge individuals who have this qualification, and they should encourage others to take up on this course. And for the future prospects of CELTA here in Pakistan, I suppose our government should be responsible uh, to, introduce it on a bigger scale.
Well, I must say then it's only CELTA that's enough for being a professional teacher, a qualified teacher, or we need to add on more. And if that is the case, then what do you think? Do we need to stop after CELTA, or there is always a room for more development? Please share an
Well,
insight.
well, of
Your
course,
advice.
there's always a room for more qualifications, for more changes, because it's always the best if you the more the merrier. I have to say the more the merrier. Also, early childhood program, early childhood education, secondary education. These all are equally important, not just education to adults. Um, what I believe is that we should make our teachers literate about this, not just the students.
Thank you. So, Mr. Tahir and Ms. Rose, would you please share some of the words? What do you think that what do we need to do in order to let it be known by a majority of the people? Since if you look around yourself, mashallah, you people are really great and experienced. However, if you look at the person who's just joined teaching as a profession, for them it may be something kind of a nightmare. What is CELTA? Why do I need to do it? And what is it going to make changes, or what are the changes it's going to bring about in me as a person, as a professional? So, do you think that is enough for a person to know about CELTA, or they need some more kind of, like, you can say, wide horizons of information that, or yes, this is also you need to be aware of while you're taking CELTA? Already, Mr. Tahir has shared loads of lots, but I want to have some more lots.
Sorry, I'm not really very knowledgeable about the system in Pakistan. I haven't taught that long in Pakistan. I've only really taught in 2 or 3 schools. But from what I've seen, I don't really think people doing CELTA um, are necessarily doing it to carry on in Pakistan. At least it seems to me more geared towards um, other countries who have some kind of an established system. I wouldn't call it infrastructure. Maybe that's too making it sound too grand, but some kind of a system where they've been receiving CELTA graduates, they've been employing them, and then they have a certain way of teaching. So obviously they'll have the younger teachers who've just picked up a CELTA, and they'll have the more experienced ones who will have perhaps changed the way that they're teaching by doing a CELTA, but they'll essentially know what kind of teaching philosophy they want in their institutes. I think in Pakistan, it's a more traditional system, for want of a better word, and perhaps maybe that sector is not really developed. So people who are looking to do it, to develop their career in Pakistan, I would probably say there would be better things to do, and especially with the money investment, I'd think a master's or something more academic might serve them better in their career. But I really
Yeah, I'll agree with Mr. Tahir. Here in Pakistan, the whole education system, sorry to say, is suffering big time, be it a public sector, be it a private sector. So when you talk about teaching qualifications, honestly speaking, teachers here don't teach for passion, they teach here for money. So when money comes in between anything, so it just kills the whole purpose. So when you do a CELTA course, you need to be somebody who's passionate about teaching, who's passionate about bringing a change. And when we talk about doing CELTA, I would say it should be for people who want to move abroad rather than staying here in Pakistan. If you're staying here in Pakistan, it's better to either go for other qualifications such as B8, which is becoming a recognizable degree right now. A lot of schools are looking forward to have teachers who've done B8. So bringing CELTA into the whole pipeline is going to take another probably a decade of time. And apart from that, I think the private sector, let's forget about the public sector schools for now, because honestly speaking, they cannot hire CELTA certified teacher. So when we talk about the private sector schools, they do sound like, you know, they're going to pay off very well and all, but they don't, because they have their own limitations and all. And once you're CELTA certified teacher, because you've invested so much, like Mr. Tar had said, you expect to have same return. So when you expect to have the same return, you do not get that in private schools in Pakistan. And another big issue that we have here in Pakistani schools is that they hire you for the positions that are vacant. Like, for example, if I am a CELTA graduate and I can teach English, but because they have a vacancy for a science teacher, so they're going to give me a block of subjects. Like, I have to teach English along with science, or I have to teach English with Islamiyat, or I have to teach English with social studies. So a lot of private schools, they do this. They give you blocks. They do not give you English as a subject individually. So here is where you get stuck, because you have knowledge all about the English language. You can teach English literature too. But when you bring in Islamiyat and social studies and maybe science, you're killing it. You're killing English also there. So that is the biggest problem. So if we talk about CELTA being introduced in Pakistan, it's like we have to work really hard for that. It's going to be another 10 years till we get everything in the pipeline, because Pakistan at the moment is fighting for a lot of things. So education is like probably the bottom of the flask.
Truly agree to that. Yes, we need to start from the scrap, and then it's going to rebuild in a way. You never know how long it's going to take further to develop all that. So that's something. Then what is the suggestion? What do you think? Is okay, let's take it in a way that you talked about B.Ed and CELTA. So are they of course they are indifferent in one way or the other. But which has more efficacy, the B.Ed part, or is it fine to be a B.Ed person, or it is deemed essential in case if you go abroad? Like we have talked about that within the borders, if you remain a professional, B.Ed is quite enough. But don't you think it's a high time that we need to just start and initiate that, all right, we CELTA makes a person stand different from the crowd? So would you just share in some of the thoughts and ideas that how about if this idea has been floated into the market? Is it going to flourish, nurture? And apart from that, we would like to welcome Ms. Samina Hayat. She is a teacher by profession, and we have joined, she has joined us from across the border. That's Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Welcome, Ms. Samina. Welcome back. How are you? I would like to
Thank you
see.
very much. Actually, thank you very much. Actually, I was with you earlier, but because of the distortion of the voice, so I thought it's better to quit. So now, thank you very much for welcoming me. I'm good, Alhamdulillah. What about you?
All good. Alhamdulillah, perfectly fine. Ms. Amina, I would like to see you. Would you just turn on your camera, please?
Can you see me now?
Thank you so much. Right. So we are having a platform discussion and we are talking about how CELTA can make a difference. We talked about various qualifications that are within the borders of Pakistan that are very influential if you are going to be a professional. However, we want people in here to know more about CELTA, why not let the people who are new to CELTA, let explore CELTA? Maybe that gives them a wider opportunity to go abroad, since we already have a lot of chunk that is going abroad in terms of professionals. Sorry to say that. But then again, we can't be we can't keep this knowledge confined to ourselves. What do you say?
Actually, what I felt, meaning maybe I'll elaborate in a different way, but what I felt that I did CELTA at a very late stage. I should have done CELTA earlier, because CELTA is a thing that is very important for meaning English teachers. Because the thing, for example, from the start, because I'm from English, meaning I had English literature from my college life. I did my FA, inter and bachelor's and master's. Okay, I had English literature, but the thing, and I was interested in teaching like this. We were taught that the group discussion, class discussions, lesson planning, everything was taught, and we used to practice. But after CELTA, I have seen that there is a difference. The way we used to implement those techniques, and now we are implementing, we are more confident. For example, if I'll give you my example, group discussion, it means that there would be noise, little bearable noise in the class, and the interaction will be there. Earlier, the fear, okay, for example, that we were some team will come and observe us. For example, what they will think, we don't have discipline in the class or like this. After CELTA, we are very confident. Oh, this is the strategy earlier we were applying, but we were not confident. Now anyone can come to the class at any stage of the lecture. We are practicing those strategies with confidence, first thing. And the second thing is what I have, maybe I am deviating from the point, but it is in my heart. Many good points about CELTA. So what I have learned after CELTA, that there is a sequence of lesson plan. I have been in teaching in Pakistan. I had teaching experience in Pakistan. I have teaching experience in Pakistan. So at that time, I know how to make lesson plans. And every school system, they have their own pattern. Those are very good patterns, because the teacher, without writing it down, jotting it down, it's not good to go to the class directly and teach. But the sequence that I have learned from CELTA to teach a language, that is totally different. The steps, so, and the anticipated question, anticipated situation, questions, what are we are going to prepare beforehand. So it was marvelous. And the second thing is, whenever we want to apply abroad, they ask for two things. Either we have to be the IELTS qualified, and the next thing, for example, they'll ask for CELTA. Okay, so I did CELTA for this reason, because whenever I wanted to apply, meaning I'm in Saudi Arabia, whenever I wanted to apply for another countries, IELTS and CELTA, IELTS and CELTA. Okay, and after CELTA, I have seen that I have received many job opportunities, because many school institutions from different online, offline. Okay, I have received many opportunities, the emails. Okay, so for CELTA, there is a plus advantage. There is an advantage of having CELTA. Maybe not in Pakistan, I'm not sure, because as I've attended the last participant, I don't know who was she, but she was very meaning she knows the scenario in the Pakistan. In Pakistan, okay, but in abroad, yes, we have the prospects.
Well, thank
I
you.
want to
Yes.
add a point here. Can I? Yeah, in Pakistan, definitely, because we don't have accreditation here. Like, we do give preference to B.Ed rather than CELTA. If you compare B.Ed with CELTA, I would say definitely CELTA is on the top because of its practice and the hands-on materials and everything. However, in Pakistan, like, I happen to teach the students of Royal Saudi Air Force. They were the Royal Saudi Air Force cadets, and they were in Pakistan to do their graduation program. But there was a requirement of the university for them to have at least a band 5.5. Okay, so the Saudi embassy was looking for some trainers for them to teach And, like I happened to submit my CV, and when they saw, I was CELTA certified, so definitely my CV stood out there. And that's how, I got that project, and I successfully completed that project as well. So yeah, in abroad or within Pakistan, if you do have CELTA and you have some, other countries, embassies looking for a trainer, they do prefer CELTA.
Yeah, that's true. And I would really agree to Miss Samina when she mentioned about anyone entering your class for observation, you know where you are and you are confident. I can vouch on that because recently I had we teachers had an observation from our coordinator, and trust me, all the teachers were like, having panic attacks because they were like, oh my god, observation hai, kya hoega. And I was the only one who was sitting because I knew that whenever she's gonna walk in, and I was like, okay, and yes, I did score the highest among all of them because she did mention that the strategies that you were using, I've not seen any teacher using that in the classroom. So, I mean, yes, the problem is people do not know about CELTA here in Pakistan. The awareness is very important. And I would like to add here, if Miss Harim finds out we're talking so much, she's going to give us the teacher's talk time too much.
So the learnings are still embedded. They haven't gone anywhere.
Yes,
They're still within
That,
the
that,
teacher.
yes.
that was teacher
Whenever we're
talk time
talking,
during class, not during this
yes.
interview.
No. I mean, it's Miss Harim just got this into us so much that whenever I'm talking, I have to think for 1 minute. Okay, it's too much of talking time.
So we
I'll add
prefer.
one. Sorry,
Sure,
sorry,
sure.
sir. Please, yes.
Sure,
No.
continue.
I'll add one more thing. For example, here we are teaching Arab students, and Arabs definitely this is their second language, and they are not meaning into studies, and we know they will not comprehend like this. But after this, as she has mentioned, that teachers talk time. Yes, now we give the students the task. Okay, so you read and you tell us what is this. Okay, so they try. Earlier we were not trying. Earlier we were spoon feeding them. So now after this, I have seen a difference. That yes, now they are learning the second language. They have to put on their efforts, and the teacher this is the facilitator in the class. Hello.
So,
Oh, we got
sure,
you.
sure, sure, sure. Yeah,
So yes.
that's very
Yeah,
important. Yeah.
extremely agreeing with you, Ms. Amina, that yes, this is a fact. When you're teaching different nationalities, you're teaching different groups of children, specifically when they are not from the same group, like the nationalities are totally different. Things variate, and that
And
is what's the beauty of experience, that you gain lots
and
of
and
things with the passage
and
of time.
here I can, talk about the main cause. Referring to her point, like Miss Samina said, in Pakistan we are not teaching English to Arabic learners. We're not teaching English to somebody who doesn't speak Urdu. So we are in the comfort zone where like everybody understands Urdu, so we give lecture in Urdu. But when you do CELTA, you're able to give lecture, or not lecture actually, you're able to keep your instructions in English, very short, very simple. Even if they're Arab, they are Chinese, whoever they are, you're able to teach internationally. To be able to teach internationally, we have to use the medium of instruction, English as a medium of instruction, rather
Well,
than Urdu or any other language as a medium of instruction.
Yeah, we do
thank
tend to
you.
get bilingual, but CELTA has
Yes.
taught us to get just give instructions in English.
Yeah, just in English. But I prefer one thing, that be it Urdu, be it Arabic or Persian or any other language. Again, even if you apply the same thing to Pakistan, it's same as English is a secondary language, because even it's not our own native language. So we can apply that policy in here, English as a secondary learner language for the learners who don't speak that English as a first language. Do you think so? since we say this course aims for the people who are actually not the native speakers, we teach them as a secondary language. I think that is it applicable if we go with the same strategy within Pakistan, because in Pakistan, even down, we don't have English as a native language. Do you agree to
Even though
that?
if it's not, even though if it's not native language, but still we have students who are good in English. So it's not, it's like a mixed plate. We don't have students like Arab who are totally like, they can't go par band 4 or 5. So here we have disadvantage. The only problem we have here is the writing part. They're very good with speaking, they're very good with listening, even with the grammar, but where this reading, I mean, and where the stuck is the writing part. So we do have a good leverage here.
Wow, that's great. That's really great. Like, these
Yes,
are
I
the
agree. I agree.
challenges of
100%. Yes.
CELTA certified teachers and trainers. So it's so good to hear, and trust me, it's so reviving to hear it from your experiences. It's like pre-learning before taking CELTA. So whoever is going to join up to listen to this webinar, they are really going to have fun learning CELTA from the experienced one. And add on, when you share on your individual experience, that is a bunch of information for the newbies. Again, we have some more questions in here, like we've been taking some of the feedback from the teachers, teachers who've just joined to be in this profession. One of their first question when they were enrolling for the program, I experienced myself as was that they say, all right, since we are going to be part of your CELTA program at Institute of Career Development, and this question comes to my mind, what was your fond memory or highlight from your time as a CELTA student at ICD? Let's listen to your experience as a student. You've been talking about as a great professionals in your field so far. We'd like to hear about your experience as a CELTA student at ICT. What was your experience? Anything that you remember from those highlights? Please share them.
We have fond memories. If anybody, honestly speaking, if anybody asked us to join CELTA course again, I would do that right away. Even if they say pay again, I don't mind doing that, but I would just go and, be into that classroom once again. Initially, first week was really, really tough. And we were like really banging our heads against the wall. Where are we stuck? But honestly, after those 4 weeks, we were totally different individuals. So CELTA did not just train us to be good English instructors, but it changed us as individuals also. They got us to be more organized with our work. So that was the best part. And, it was great. See, when we are students in school or in high school or in university, we are studying with students only. But when we are taking a CELTA course, we are studying with teachers of our same age or maybe like, a little older. It's a great experience.
Ms. Amina, would like to hear it from you as well. How was your experience being a student despite being a teacher?
Actually, you reminded me of those beautiful days. When I joined, it was a very tough time because I was very sick also because after Hajj I joined and I had fracture, okay, molar fracture. And it was very tough for me. And maybe you know my story or but it was a very difficult and strange situation for me, but it was good. After this, what I have learned that we Pakistanis, all there, meaning all our Pakistanis there, we are so cooperative, all the students, there was no competition. That was wonderful experience because nobody, everybody was concerned that okay, इसको भी आए ना अच्छा गलत क्यों मतलब we used to help each other. Like sometimes it was so much irritating maybe for the instructions because we were helping too much, but that was a very good experience. I know the teachers in their heart they were appreciating us because the students being cooperative to each other, that leads to learning. For example, if my colleague or me, I don't know, for example, something, and they would say they would find out those things for me, and same vice versa. It was a wonderful experience. Yes, the third week was for me, it was the toughest. I thought sometimes there was a point, there comes a point that when we think, okay, maybe I should quit. I can't. So that time only, that was because actually that 2 weeks we were with one instructor with one level, and then the other instructor with another level. So the fear of the level, the switch of the level of the students that we are going to teach, the books were easy, but the students, maybe they are different, like maybe the instructor, we don't know the instructor. Okay, that was only one day fear. Okay, after that, alhamdulillah, we came to know that okay, we can do, and it was very good experience, because both teachers, if we had done CELTA with only one instructor, I think that would not be enough, because two teachers with two different personalities, we have learned two different things in both positive aspects. We have learned differently, and it was the complete package of CELTA, what I would say.
So it was wonderful to listen to your roller coaster experience of CELTA at ICD. So Adina and Mr. Anas, I hope you have had the same experience, or a bit of different, but of course of the same nature. Being student is entirely different. You are totally in another ride, and that's so you can say rejuvenating for our bodies and minds, that you actually grow fresh when you are a student. I believe that way. So do you feel the same when you see your students helping each other while your lessons are being conducted? How do you react then?
I mean, the previous question was about any CELTA memory. I would like to share that, one funny memory. Maybe, everybody's gonna laugh at it. It was a dangerous as well as funny experience for me. Actually, I had delayed doing my first assignment. At the end of every week, we get an assignment, then we have a deadline to complete the assignment. So it was my first assignment, and I had already delayed doing it. And, like we were in the afternoon, we were observing our colleagues, other celtoids. So I had my laptop on, and I pretended as if I was writing my observation notes. Whatever I was doing, but I was doing my assignment. So my trainer Esther Ibrahim, she came
So you
near me,
got
and I just minimized my screen. I said, I'm just writing on my words, Microsoft Word, the notes of my observation. And then second time she came and she caught me red-handed. And then what happened, she was very angry. I mean, she said, okay, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. And at night, I received an email, a very long email, in which she had, written everything, so many things. And I thought, like my money has gone down the drain. Now I'm going to fail CELTA because, I've made a big blunder, something like that. The next morning, I was very down. Esther Ibrahim called me inside her office. She gave me a piece of paper, and the paper contained the same email. She asked me to to sign. And she said, this will be put in your portfolio. Okay. And I did nothing, just I just, silently signed, and I said, I have made a blunder, but I don't want to make another blunder. So let's do whatever she asked me to do. Okay. I did not react. And you know what happened? My trainer, Esther Ibrahim, got impressed by this act. That, like she had written a very big email. I mean, and then she asked me to sign on the paper. And I did all that, silently without reacting to that. And she said, I was expecting you to react at the time. And she said, she had heard a lot about Pakistan. Pakistan is a country of terrorists, something like that. She had that imagination. But when she saw the people being so much patient and so much calm in those difficult situations, so I mean, she really got a positive image of Pakistan from there as well. However,
wow, thank you. That
now you
was
can say it
really
was a
amazing to
funny
hear.
as well
And
as dangerous experience.
thank you, Mr. Anas. That was
Oh
really
my God,
helpful.
my
But that could have been a breathtaking one when you said that you got a long email for explanation to give an answer. Why was it delayed? However, you handle it very beautifully. So, Adina, would you have some experiences to be shared with us?
Yes, my God. My anxiety levels were just elevated. You know, the lesson planning and everything, I used to stay up all the night and do it because in karate, my batch was the first batch in Karachi, and I used to reach home by 8 or 8:30. I live in Gulshan MMR, which is like the other end of Karachi, and getting stuck at Shara FSL. So you could just imagine how long of a day it would have been. Uh, right before my lectures, I used to rush to the bathroom, and I used to throw out my guts in the toilet seat just because I was so nervous with that. Like, it was so funny that I was teacher D in my group, and teacher A and teacher B and teacher C would be there sitting and covering, my time just so that I could return from the bathroom after, emptying my stomach. And that was funny. Um, but yes, Miss Hareen, she is an incredible guide, incredible teacher. She gave me that courage. She she used to make sure that I eat well and proper so that I don't empty my guts out. But it would happen in every lecture. That was a good memory. I hope Miss Mehrose can relate because I was in her group. She was
Oh,
the
we've
teacher
got
A.
batchmates then.
Yeah, I remember that pretty well. And I this
I
just
witnessed it
recalled,
as
yeah,
well.
I just recalled this helping friends part where I was going to the CELTA course, and one of this batchmate of mine calls up and she's like, I cannot upload my lesson plan, and it's going to be 9:30 soon because 9:30 a.m. used to be the deadline. And she's like, I don't know what to do. I've asked others also, but please you also try it to end. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So what I did was I just parked my car on the far left side, and I opened my Gmail and Google Drive, and I downloaded her LP from my WhatsApp, and then I uploaded it. I mean, instead of reaching to the center on time, I was more concerned to upload that LP of my friend just so that she doesn't get in trouble. So yeah, these were like they may sound very little to others, but for us they were like huge.
Wow, that was really like I could actually feel the goosebumps while listening to your experiences, and the traffic jam problem. Rimsha could relate as I could see the wide smile on her
Oh yes,
face.
absolutely. All of us, I
Also
think
the
all of the
printer
batches.
problem as well. If you remember, like daily on daily basis, she used to come to me, just get the prints, get this done, and all. I have that memories. It was a memorable journey for me as well.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
we would
Yeah.
send WhatsApp all our LPs to somebody who would be reaching there on time so that he can or she can just download them and print them out. So it was never like, oh no, this is not my work. Why should I be doing it? Or so it was a very healthy competition that way too. And we would never bother reading the LPs. I mean, like, no, who cares? Just get the printout and get the work done.
Yeah.
Wow, that's too appreciable. That's thank you for all sharing all your experiences and all your thoughts and insights, and above all, the most valuable information that you have just shared with us. I'm truly honored to host this virtual meetup, and that too on again, I would say it on a wonderful day. That's World's Education Day. Be it any field of education, I still believe as professionals, as educationists, we need to share the youngsters and let them know what are the wide horizons waiting for them to be explored in the near future. And having on board Miss Amina, Ms. Rimsha, Ms. Adina, Mr. Anas, Ms. Mehrose, and Ms. Javeria. And we have Mr. Osama and Sir Tahir. Because of some work commitments, he had to leave a little earlier. So it was really amazing. And I truly feel honored to be the host of such a wonderful alumni. Last but not least, we are not saying to go and say goodbyes, because we always say we are definitely going to meet up together. But before we leave and we sign out, would you like to send a message for ICD and for the CELTA aspirers who want to be a CELTA certified trainer? Would you please leave a message for them and for ICD for sure?
Yes,
Would you
for
like-
ICD,
Yes,
for
please speak.
ICD, the message is, yeah, for ICD, the message is that keep organizing CELTA training in Karachi. Because like I know there are a lot of teachers and it's a big market, and there will be a lot of aspirant teachers, because most of the time Lahore and Islamabad, these cities get advantage of this training. Because when it was my time in 2019, I had to travel all the way from Karachi to Lahore doing CELTA. So like, yeah, some of the fortunate celtoids we do have in Karachi that, happen to get the benefit from training in Karachi. But I haven't seen any upcoming training in
There
Karachi.
are.
Okay.
There are. Stay tuned, and you are going to experience CELTA in Karachi too. What about that, Rimsha? Would you share some insight about it? Are we going to host them in
We
Karachi?
did in 2023 as well, and we are going to do in 2024 July, inshallah. So it's keep going.
Inshallah.
Don't worry about that.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Yes,
Inshallah.
I would like to hear. Sorry, Mr. Anas, continue.
Yeah, same at the same Shara Faisal.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it
we are
better
seeing
not be.
it.
No, it better
Yeah,
not
because
be.
it's a crowdy area, like Shara
No,
Faisal
we
is
had
full of
terrible
traffic jam.
time reaching. No, we had terrible time reaching the center, and then terrible time coming back. Also, we had terrible time with the Wi-Fi. No, please, not that center.
That's the main two concerns I have at this time. The number one is the Wi-Fi availability, and the two is the traffic. So I'm looking into it, and for sure we will have an like more organized or a structured venue as well. Inshallah, I'm looking into it
Inshallah.
this time.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Miss Amina. Would like to hear it from you too.
Actually, in Islamabad, it's not available. The classes of CELTA, meaning no courses. I think I'm not sure about others, but CELTA was not available at my time. So because I had to, I'm from Islamabad. Actually, I'm from Rawalpindi. So I had to go leave my all family, and I had to stay there in Lahore, and it was a tough time, because one of the thing that I have felt, because CELTA is a very expensive course, and I think we expect that if we are spending this much of lakhs, okay, we can spend maybe 50,000 more like this, or 30 plus thousand we can spend, okay, on the accommodation also. So because the students are not from the same city, there should, I know that ICD, meaning they guide us, okay, about the accommodation, but the time when I was with my family, because my family, they came and stayed with me in Lahore. They stayed maybe for 1 week, and the last week they came. At that time, I was okay, because I was living with them, okay, in army accommodation. But the other time, the normal private hostels, we got the list from ICD, but the condition of the hostels are not good. And so, for example, if ICD can arrange the hostels for the teachers, we can. I think most of them, would be ready to pay. So, meaning near accommodations, because at that time when we are coming to Lahore, the place is new, we don't know, the area is overpopulated, okay, and we don't know. We are just asking others on the same day we are reaching, and we are asking others, and at that time it was monsoon, and the roads are full of rain, and first time I realized that it can be the condition in Pakistan. Lahore is so beautiful, but because of the rain, my impression is totally ruined. So I think the accommodation should be the ICD's responsibility. And secondly, what I felt, the facilities, meaning, for example, it was good, but it has to be, as he has mentioned, more organized. Because if we are paying more, so we are expecting more from the institute. I'm sorry for mentioning these points, but if we
No, but
just
that's a great.
talk, if we just talk about the positives, okay, this is okay. So there is no, then who will improve? Okay, we have
This,
to tell.
exactly. This is what
Yes.
platform we had for, because of course we want to grow as professionals, and whatever you have been experiencing adds up for us to be a better tool to implement. So definitely the responses definitely are going to be look up into, and to some extent we have organized, like we have now centers where we are trying to initiate to conduct CELTA. Karachi is one of the venue we have hosted CELTA. And of course, with your prayers and wishes, we are definitely going to host it in other cities as well. We are into working on these things, are in pipeline. Hope to share the news soon. And we are going to break this news with all the alumni members that now finally we are hosting CELTA in the desired destinations. However, added on, yes, of course, the feedback ways carries a lot of importance. And thank you so much for being giving an honest feedback. So, Mary Rose, would you like to share some of your thoughts? Since we are going to just sign out, so I would love to hear it from you.
Yeah, CELTA has been a life-changing event for me, I would say. And I would really like to thank ICT for the platform, especially Dr. Osama, Ms. Rimsha, and Mr. Osama for their help throughout the course. I know we've been really troublesome throughout the time. Ye ho gaya, ye ho gaya, ye ho gaya, but thank you so much. And again, I would like to thank ICD for all the courses they've been bringing up, which we've been opting in, professionally growing. And I would say keep it up. And like Miss Samina mentioned the points, yes, I'd not actually experienced them myself because the traffic was the major thing, which obviously ICD cannot start out other than to have a different campus. But thank you again, ICD. I truly owe you people one, because if it was not from ICD, I would have not known what else CELTA is, and I would have not changed myself as a teacher. So thanks again.
Thank you, Mary Rose. Over to you, Adina.
Really great memories, really great platform. I am certainly going to miss those days, but what's good is that we have a great opportunity ahead of us. Um, I I am planning for going abroad, inshallah, this year, and I do want to mention it that this certification opens many opportunities for you. I've applied around the world. I'm not even kidding. Middle East, Europe, even United Kingdom and USA, and I got back. I got many positive responses.
Thank you so much. It was, again, words are running short for me to thank you all and to share how do I feel at this moment. This is really a proud moment to host the alumni, and I really wish you all the best in all the future endeavors that you are involved in, to indulge into, or anything that you're planning in the upcoming future. And hope to see you, meet you in one way or the other through the platform ICD. And of course, apart from that as well, since we have roots here together. So it was nice having you all. And we'll definitely look up to have more sessions and would love to have you people on board. And it's really precious time that you have spared with us. Thank you all, and this is going to be really fruitful for the upcoming batch, that people who are really planning or opting to plan for CELTA certificate courses. Once again, this is me, Gulbano. I'm going to sign out. Again, I would remind a trainer from ICD, but still we always have room for improvement. We'll definitely work on all the suggestions if Dr. Osama approves of them. So again,
He
it
will. He's a nice guy. He would.
thank you all. So signing out with lots of prayers. See you inshallah. Allah Hafiz. Take care, everybody.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you
Allah
so much
Hafiz.
for your time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Allah Hafiz.
Allah
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz.